be coaching. This is now becoming a coaching lesson, guys. So I'm turning the music off. No more music for now. So the VOD will not get muted at this point in time. I don't want muted VODs during coaching lessons. Yeah, what up, man?
What's up, ViBE? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good.
All right, so you're platinum, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any specific matchup you'd like to focus on, like Terran, Protoss, or Zerg?
I would probably say Protoss first, second ZVZ.
Okay. All right, yo, boys. Are there any currently in the stream? Are there any Protosses who are of the platinum level or near that level? If there are, and you guys want to play in the coaching lesson, come join up. I'll just let me know, and I'll invite you to the games. Yeah, man, gotta get some Protoss action. If you can't end up getting, if like it takes like a couple minutes here and we don't end up getting a Protoss, just tell me what you play against. Like, tell me what something you struggle with against Protoss, or maybe if it's Protoss as a whole. And and then I could play against you myself if we can't get another Protoss, and then we can go from there. We could just I could play a game against you with a certain style, and then we can talk about it afterwards.
All right, sounds good. ViBE, how do you find the your ID on StarCraft?
All right, so this is for anyone who wants to play, and you as well, Joe. Just go to groups on Battle.net, and then once you're there, just hit find, type in the search up here, type in ViBE, and then you'll see Vibes Raiders. You just join that, and then that'll be the easiest way to get it going easy.
Okay.
I'm somewhere in Plat Protoss range. Okay, Hertler, I'll have you play then, man. Sounds good. Alright, so what kind of styles do you like to do, Joe, when you play?
I play a lot of macro. Versus Protoss, I'm kind of in the dark, but I go like roaches. I don't know. Suggestions are welcome.
Yeah. No, just whatever your comfortable style is, just do that in the first game, and then I'll definitely help you maximize what you're doing. Because you're not like forced to play any specific way. If you prefer one way over another, you could still make that work. And I mean, there are some things in the game that are like counters to other things. Like, for instance, if you're a roach player and you're going up against a Protoss who scouts roaches, and now he goes for like double robo immortals, you might want to switch out of roaches at that point to something else.
Sure.
But for the most part, they can work in a lot of situations. A lot of builds can work in a lot of situations. Alright, so are you Punisher on StarCraft as well?
Yes. Oh no, I'm sorry, Bane Rain.
Okay. I got you, and then we'll make a game. Is there any map you want to do, or do you just any ladder map?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll do this map, Frost. Yeah, Hertler, you can play, man. Come on. Because if you're around plat range, that would be perfect for Protoss. Okay, so I'll be just kind of like, for the first game, just do what you want to do. I'll give you advice throughout the game, but I'm not going to try to like overdo it here. I'll just try to give you simple advice. I don't want to distract you a shitload, but yeah, I'll be trying to critique your build a little bit, and then when the game's over, we'll definitely talk a lot more about it, and then possibly either play another game or go into the replay. And
all right, so
yeah. Also, sorry to interrupt you, but one of the big things too, I like that you said you're a macro player, because one of the big things I'm going to be focusing on talking to you about is macro as well.
Cool.
It's a big thing.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Alright, so guys, and also in the stream, guys, I'm not going to be talking to the chat too much for the coaching lesson, just because I kind of want to dedicate most of my attention to the coaching lesson itself. But if you guys are around platinum level Protoss, I'm still willing to take more people to play Protoss after this, so keep that in mind. Alright. So one idea, a big idea here for macro style Zerg is the mindset you should have is do not waste larva if it's possible. So like right now, make an overlord. Hey, perfect. Okay. Try to never have 3 larvae on your hatchery though. Try to always have as few larvae as possible is the idea. So just keep tapping, as long as you're going to be making drones, like keep spamming that, make drone, even if you're not even able to do it yet. If you just get in the habit of doing that, sometimes when you're in the middle of doing something else, you'll still always be in the habit of making drones to where you'll never just be like, oh shit, I got like 500 minerals and I forgot to make drones.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people. It's just, if you build good habits, it will help you a lot at macroing properly. So definitely just keep spamming like SD, SD, SD. And then also if you're gonna macro, going pool first is, it honestly is slower for macro purposes. Hatchery first is always better.
And just do pool in case they do the pylon shenanigans, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
But...
And then at this point in your build, really, I would say you have 2 choices. One would be either make a gas or make a 3rd base.
Yeah, I'm going for that 3rd.
Okay.
You can tell my builds are all messed. Like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
No, it's okay, man. It's all good. It's what coaching's for. I'll since you talked about pylon shenanigans, you're talking mostly about like cannon rushes, right? And like overcharge rushes with adepts and stuff like that on your hatcheries. Yeah, I can give you like a replay and we can talk about it even, about how like efficient ways to deal with stuff like that while going hatchery first. And then like right now, I would send your queen you just built, honestly, send that to like your, leave it at your natural, but build another queen in your natural right now. And as soon as the queen that's there currently injects, send it to your 3rd.
Roger.
So you have queens at every hatchery like as they finish.
Beautiful.
I like that you're scouting too. That's good. A lot of players kind of neglect that. So I like that you're attempting to scout already. It's really nice. And then just keep like this is when you would be in that situation where you're just going SD, 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 just making drones. And if you just do this every time you have an idle second in the game, if you're just hitting SD when you need to be making drones, it'll really boost your build a lot in the future. Alright, now around this time I would say take your gases. Take like 2 gas. This is like the exact build that I do, where I go 3 base really early and then I take late gas. If you take them right around 3 minutes, it'll make you have a good window where you can deny adepts from doing pressure.
Gotcha.
And then around 3:45, take a roach one. So that way if he goes mass adepts, you'll have roaches if you need them. And it's not too early to where it's going to screw your economy over. Alright, now just to be extra safe, if I were you, at around this time, since you now know he went for a natural and he has a couple gateways coming up in the front, send an overlord into his main, and it'll definitely help you like get a kind of a read on what's going on, whether it might be like a Stargate, or there you go, you actually see a 3rd now, so now you actually know there's not really going to be an all-in. Now you know it's a 3rd. You just want to have an idea of like, is it going to be a 2-base all-in or is it going to be like a macro-focused build?
What do you think, layer now, or?
Yeah, layer would be good. And just keep making drones for a little bit longer. And just, yeah, I would say try to get like at least 2 mineral lines fully saturated, which you do have at this point. And then as soon as you have that, once you're around like 55 to 60 supply, just blindly make like 7 roaches or so. And then start Zergling speed as well. I like that you actually, since you saw he went for a 3rd, I like going layer before speed. I only like going speed before layer if it's actually like an all-in that I'm fighting against. But if my Protoss opponent is macroing, I like going layer first because you can get layer tech out faster. But yeah, I would say make like 7 roaches at this point, and then as soon as you have that, go back to droning until you're fully saturated on every base. Those 7 roaches will keep you safe from the adept pressure. If you like walked up with 6 adepts, you're not going to lose your whole economy that way. And then as soon as you're fully saturated on 3 mineral lines, then I would say go crazy on whatever unit you want to make, which like you were saying before, is probably roaches, which is totally fine.
Maybe hydras.
Yeah, you can go roach hydra this game.
Okay.
That'd work. Roach hydra styles are very viable. But keep in mind, the big thing is you want to get fully saturated. So just, you know, you're still making drones, which is good, but just make sure not to have any missing drones on any bases. Your third is becoming almost oversaturated. You're good. I was just making sure you're not going to have all your hatcheries rallied there.
Should I do upgrades now? What do you think?
Yeah, go for it. You have the money. If you're going to be on 6 gas, full saturation, you can easily afford upgrades and also production. There you go. That should be your last round of drones. Now I would say, as soon as you're fully saturated on 3 base, take a 4th. Just start a 4th base. You don't have to saturate it, but you can transfer drones from your main when your main starts mining out to your 4th. And now your build is very macro focused. It's very, you have a lot of power going into the mid game now. Now just don't supply block and make mass roach hydra.
Gotcha.
Also, just transfer a couple of drones from your natural to get your gas at your 3rd, and then 1 more drone in your, or 2 more drones in your main, and you'll be perfect. There you go. Good shit. And then don't forget, I don't know if you did it already, but roach range upgrade and speed, and then
yeah, I got speed already.
Okay,
range
cool.
and just pressed.
Nice. Alright, and then I would say right now too, make like 2 overseers. Just like 1 or 2 overseers defensively. So just in case your opponent were to do something weird like, oh shit, DTs are coming. Or you might also be able to pick off a random observer and deny scouting from your opponent. It's always nice to have a couple of overseers just chilling. And then you could also make changelings and go scout him with changelings and possibly see his army composition or how many bases he has. Stuff like that. And I would say a good timing to move out would be around 180 supply. And you want to be pushing, go up to like 16 hydras. Do not go over that though, and then make the rest roaches.
Okay.
Anything more than that is going to be a bit overkill on the hydra. And your army becomes actually kind of weaker because you don't have a meat shield.
Gotcha. It's going Robo Stargate.
This is good against Roach Hydra. Or your Roach Hydra is good against that, rather. Stargate builds are where Roach Hydra shine. If he was like double Robo, I'd be kind of worried.
Okay. I actually got gotta lower my game sounds. I got melee for some reason.
That's okay. Just I know that wasn't intentional, but it's all good there. But look, your army's destroying it right now. You've macroed well. You saturated your bases quickly, and you're spending your money pretty well. And now your focus should be at this point, max out again, but look at your bases. Make sure you always have at least 3 base saturation, and make sure it's optimal. So like your main is oversaturated by 3, your natural is a little oversaturated, you just fixed it, and your 3rd is undersaturated by 4. But all together, you still have in total drones 3 base saturation. So just transfer like around to your 4th base like you just did, and that's all you gotta do. Just make sure it's all still efficient when you have time to look at it.
Gotcha.
And then I would say buff up the Hydra count on your army just a little bit more. You're kind of running thin here. You have 6 at the moment. And then you can kind of press here and see what's going on. What you're doing right now, though, is kind of risky. I would say always, you can push it, like since you're committed already, you saw he's not there. But always try to scout either ahead with, actually never mind, sorry, I didn't see the overseer, my bad. I'm sorry. I actually didn't see the overseer. I was like, I was thinking you had no vision, you're just running blindly into his base, and you could be destroyed by like force fields or something.
Well, I kind of was.
Yeah. But always try to have like a spotter in front. Like I like the idea of that. And with the micro here, move. Okay, you can't do it anymore. But what you could have done right there was when your roaches all shot the first wave, only your front line was firing. As soon as you shoot one time, you can move forward just a little bit, and then shoot again, and then move forward a little bit, and then shoot again. And the way you would micro that properly is you move your roaches while they're on attack cooldown. Because regardless if the roach is standing still or if it's moving, the attack cooldown doesn't change. Like it's still gonna cool down even if the roach is moving.
Right.
So
gotcha.
try to just maximize the roaches, like getting on top of him and then firing, and then getting on top of him and then firing.
Did you say armor is not good against Protoss?
Against Gateway, if you're going Roach Hydra against Gateway, it's not bad. It's okay. But in general, if your Protoss opponent is going for like, if he was going Immortals and you're going Roaches, every armor upgrade you have is actually irrelevant because no matter what, the Immortal will always 3-shot a Roach. So there are a lot of breakpoints in Zerg vs Protoss where it doesn't matter if you have armor, the Protoss units will still kill you with the same amount of shots, regardless of if you have it or not. Which means it's a waste of investment. So, like honestly, if you want the way I would play it, I would say I would actually get melee attack and also range attack, and I would actually skip Carapace, even if you're going Roach Hydra, because what that would do is if you get Zergling speed, it would allow you to do like Ling run-bys while doing a Roach Hydra attack.
Yeah.
I like that you pulled back there. That was kind of a choke point. That was a bit scary to engage into. Like right now, I would say you could probably send maybe like 20 supply of your army up to his third base at the top. And then if he commits like a lot of his army to go deal with that, you could then commit into the base you're trying to poke right now. Otherwise, you could just like, just maneuver around and get some damage done somewhere else.
Gotcha.
Zerg is always most beneficial if you're multi-prong attacking. Even if it's like kind of wasteful. Like if you see right now, see who's moving this whole army? Move in with your other party army, like underneath. There you go, perfect. You're sacrificing like 10 roaches right now to kill an entire base. This is fucking perfect, man. This is good. And then exactly, I like that you're pulling back a little bit. And like right now, I would say you could do something similar where you could send maybe like 10 or 20 supply to his natural or again to the fourth, and then just do the same thing. Attack the base he doesn't defend. You can pick people apart like this so much with Zerg. But one big mindset you should have here is you should not really want to throw away your entire army right now, because if you are transitioning into Muta, if you throw away your whole army right away, you give him the window to push you. I like that you killed the Nexus, but that was okay, that was good. Like right now, what I would do is I would move the Mutas into the main, and then like run your army away from his base like you are. So like Roach Hydra go back to your base, and Mutas poke him and pressure. But just keep in mind, since you're going, so right now your army is very torn in between two different tech paths. Try not to take a fight. You will lose if you take a fight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, your army's like very harass heavy, not very army heavy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I got it.
Alright. And like right now, since you know where his army is chasing Amita, you can send your roaches against somewhere else.
So you wouldn't have went Muta in that situation?
I know, I think Mutas are good, but you don't want to engage his army until you're fully committed to one tech path. So like what I would do if I were you is I would throw away bits and pieces of the roaches, but not all at once, because if you do it all at once, he's gonna push you, and then you might die. But if you just throw away, like I like that you're hitting the fourth, this is good. But if you lose like you gradually lose your Roach Hydra and go into maxed out Roach Hydra, or go into maxed out Muta, then the Muta are, instead of having like 20 engaging his army, now you have like 60, and the Mutas could actually overpower realistically at that point. Also, another unit that's really good, if you're gonna go Muta, never actually go into like more Roach Hydra.
Oh, okay.
You're extending the duration that you're gonna be in torn tech paths. I would say a really good unit to go instead would be like Zerglings with Adrenal Gland upgrades, because they don't cost gas, and you can make more Mutas that way. And then yeah, Lings actually shit on Stalkers harder than Hydras do.
I'm gonna get melee then.
But you could, against the army composition you're up against, you also could go Lurker if you wanted to set up like maybe like 8 Lurkers to set up a defensive area. That's also possible. Seeing him pushing like this, I wouldn't want to engage him again. Like we were talking about before, how you're split between tech paths. You will lose this fight if you fight him. So if he decides to push across the map, you should honestly go for base trade. Or else your whole army will die if you fight that.
You don't think combined I can take him?
You could try, but his army is stronger than yours.
Oh yeah, damn, it's That's huge.
And he also has counters to what you have. He has Guardian Shield, which will counter all your Hydras, all your Riches, all your Mutas. And you don't have enough Mutas to pick off the sentries quickly. If you send your Mutas into his middle of his army, all your Mutas will die because you don't have enough. And then he has Force Field to cut your army apart as well. So his army's scary right now for Roach Hydra.
Okay.
Roach Hydra is definitely the kind of army where it's like good to go early, but that army is kind of on a clock where if you stick to it all game, you will lose the game because it becomes shittier. The more supply your opponent gets, the worse Roach Hydra gets.
Yeah, it's usually what happens.
Yeah. It's always good to go early and then transition out of. So like right now, I would go to your main and like grab all your overlords and like run them off to like somewhere else, like maybe to the corner of the map or something. Just so that if this does turn into a full-on base trade, which it seems like it is, you can salvage all your overlords, whereas you're going to kill all of his pylons, and you'll at least have a supply advantage as long as you can get some drones out of your base, which you did on the bottom of the map. And now, your opponent's not being revealed. If your opponent doesn't get revealed in this kind of a situation, what I would do is I would actually send the mutas around the map immediately and look for future bases, and I would let the Roach Hydra, which is less mobile, finish off the base that's currently here. But if you find like, there you found probes with your drones, and you're owning them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mutas definitely should always be trying to deny future bases, like if there's cannons going up at it or something like that, or killing probes around the map. Alright, and then your mutas are, you actually see units coming out now. Be careful, try and salvage all units you can in this kind of situation. Every unit that dies is getting closer to the win for the other person. Like right now, I would say your primary focus would be to just finish off the buildings on the top that you knew about, like the pylons and the gas, just to get rid of his vision so he doesn't know if you're there anymore. But try not to lose all your drones, potential drones. Like always have something else on the other side of the map of what you currently have. That's like the #1 rule for a base trade. Because you have a ton of money right now, you could spend it if you have the time to do it. But if you commit yourself too hard into one spot of the map, you will die. It's like you see right now, you're skilling your bottom hatch rate. Like, I'm glad that you're already running drones away. But try to always have something on the opposite side. And right now, you see how he's committing his army here to your base? That's not a huge army. You could actually overpower that with your Roach Hydra army. You know that since his army is kind of small attacking your base, it means that he didn't bring everything. And there's no sentries in this army either, which is what is actually scary against Roach Hydra. If you overpower this Stalker army here, though, you should actually try to run it down and kill it as quick as possible. If you overpower it, you put pressure on the Protoss to where now he threw away a big chunk of his army. And yeah, it's a big deal. Like it puts more pressure on the Protoss to not be able to do anything then at that point. He's still on your side of the map, so I would say turn around and focus on trying to find and eliminate it. And use your mutas with your fight. I like that your mutas are good too. You need to definitely fight his army. If he gets back home and regroups, that's bad news for you. Okay, his army's getting too close together. You honestly need to run. If you fight this, you'll probably lose now, because his army's like going to be flanking on both sides of you, probably. Don't feel too pressured, man. If you fight, oh god, you've committed. You're committed, dude. You should have ran away.
I'm trapped.
But good luck.
I got high ground.
Oh, go up, go up. I would say go up right now. Do not fight. If you fight, you're dead. Just run to north. Not there, dude. You're trapping yourself. No.
Is this his last building, though?
No.
No?
Well, what you just did is you took a gamble, and you just took a bad gamble because that wasn't his last building. If you would have ran back across the map, you could have extended the game. What you want to do in that situation is not engage his whole army. You want to break it apart, like piece by piece. And if he commits his whole army across the map, you then counterattack his buildings. So you got a little crazy there.
Yeah, it was a little hectic.
No, it's all good, man.
So, I mean, I guess I shouldn't have two armies like that. Just commit to one army.
You can have two, but just think about it like this: now that you're not in the game, you'll be able to try and think about it more and not actually be distracted by playing the game. But if you go Roach Hydra is very weak, but it's very fast at maxing. So a lot of times if you go Roach Hydra, you'll have 200 supply, whereas your opponent will have like 160 or like 150. They'll have much less than you, generally speaking. Like, you're going to oversupply against their army. But they're making more expensive and more effective units than you are. So the power of Roach Hydra is overwhelming your opponent.
Right.
So that's why it's on a clock. But whereas if your opponent gets to like maxed out supply, so you're both maxed, Hydras are okay in maxed armies, but Roaches are actually terrible in maxed army versus maxed army. They're so inefficient for the supply they cost. They're only good if you overwhelm. So if you're now in a position where your opponent's on 200 supply of Blinkstalker, Immortal, Sentry, and you're on a max supply of Roaches and Hydras, all that's going to happen to you is you're going to be force fielded apart, and your army's going to get cut up with force fields, and he's going to be killing like 30 supply of your army at a time. And then you're going to kill, like, you're going to lose like 100 supply, whereas your opponent's going to lose like 20 in this kind of a fight, and your army's going to be just terrible in that situation.
And then he's going to stomp right up.
Exactly.
Right
Yeah. If you take up a huge fight like that, and you give your opponent a situation where they just destroyed all your army, and then they have a window to push, because now they're going to be getting on one of your hatcheries before you have a regrouped new army to deal with it. That's when you get in a situation where you lose production, you lose economy, and you potentially like lose the game. So a good way to do it would be like what we were talking about when you actually sniped his 4th base because you sent up like 20 supply to his 3rd. That was perfect. You can send up like 20 supply north to basically sacrifice itself. Whatever damage it does is awesome, but it's designed to die and distract your opponent. Whereas your main army is like killing a more important, or another important base, which is now exposed. That's better than just ramming your army into his and losing the fight. And if you do that again and again, like let's say now you kill off his, whatever it's called, you killed off his 4th base by sending units at the 3rd. Now, once again, he's regrouped, and now you send another like 20 supply at either the 3rd again, or like maybe his natural or something like that. You could also use Nidus to do this, by the way. You could like Nidus his main with like 20 supply and make him really be like, oh shit, Nidus is my main, I gotta go back to my main. And once again, send army once it's exposed at more base. But all these Roaches that like are being sacrificed in small amounts, those are constantly being replaced into like mutas, more mutas. And then you're gradually growing the muta count, and then once you have like, let's say 20 to 30 muta, you could also then now use the mutas, rather than sending off like 20 Roaches or 10 Roaches to go suicide. You could have mutas distract and just fly away when you've distracted. And then Roaches then could do the same exact job once again, and you could just keep your opponent on low economy. But eventually, when you get to a point where like you have a good Roach ball, or I mean a good muta ball, you could throw away the rest of your Roaches, and then just...
Full muta.
Yeah, exactly. Or something like that. Make an ideal army, transition into an ideal army of what your opponent's doing. And
Gotcha.
Zerglings with melee upgrades, I'll just say this right now, if you struggle against Stalker...
Yeah.
Sorry, I was coughing. If you struggle against Stalker-based Protoss, like Blinkstalkers all over the place, if you have level 3 melee Adrenal Gland Zerglings...
Correct, yeah.
Two Zerglings can actually beat one Stalker in that situation. And that's
Really?
half the supply. So you could have 40 supply of Zerglings beat 80 supply of Stalkers. Theoretically. Granted, go ahead.
You usually go Ling, right?
I do, yeah. I transition into Ling a lot. Because it doesn't cost gas, which means I get mutas faster and more of them. And then I can also invest more into upgrades. And also Lings are just better against Stalkers. And a lot of times Protosses will make Stalkers to counter muta. So it's like you're countering his counter if you go Lings. But you can always open with Roaches. That's totally viable. Like you can do the Roach Hydra build you just did, and you will probably win a lot of games just doing a Roach Hydra push in your opponent's face if you macroed well. But then if you transition into Muta Ling after that, you'll probably win a shitload as well from that transition because your opponent will be going Stalker. And if they go like Robo, like Disruptors or something, you're in an even better spot.
Okay.
Alright, so let's do another game.
Sure.
Another game. We'll do another Protoss. I'll do a different map this time, a smaller map.
Should I try and go for Ling or just do the same thing?
Do whatever you're comfortable with. You can always transition, just keep that in mind. I'll talk more about it, but in 1 second, just gotta find the guy. There we go. So if you like link styles, I can definitely show you some link styles, but never feel afraid to transition. The easiest way to do it would be what we were talking about earlier about upgrades. You can actually forego Carapace and just go double Evo, range weapon, and melee weapon. So it's really easy to transition in and out of either style.
Okay.
Yo, Hurdler! Hurdler! You wanna play another one, man? If not, I'll just get someone else. There we go. Sick. Alright, you guys ready?
Yep.
Alright. Alright, so I would say, just for the sake of learning and not getting too crazy here, I would do the same build as last game, but when you go double Evo, do melee and range attack rather than Carapace.
Okay.
But do like the 3
That's what I did the first time, and then I went to Carapace.
Yeah. Yeah, the only unit Carapace would really help against would be like a Zealot or like a Sentry for ground. And no one really like sentries aren't really something you need to be worried about doing damage to you, and Zealots is kind of an irrelevant unit at this point. Everyone just goes Stalkers or Adepts. Just kind of how the meta is, because the Adepts are just kind of like not the greatest in straight up army battles. Especially if you go Roach Hydra and you still don't have Carapace, you're going to destroy a Zealot army. It won't even be a problem. So this game, I would say try going Hatchery first. And go hatchery, pool, hatchery, like 17, 17, 18. 17 hatch, 17 pool, 18 hatch.
Hatch, pool, hatch, you said?
Yeah, because this way it'll keep you safer from people who do pylon shenanigans. Because you still have a relatively early pool. 3 hatch before pool is a little bit harder. It gets a bit more confusing to deal with. But this build going hatch, pool, hatch is it's a lot more efficient than the last build you did in terms of the opener and getting your drones going.
When do you take an Overlord?
19. So hatchery, and then go drone up to 19, and then Overlord.
Played a lot in Wings of Liberty, and I haven't played this game in like since then, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get back into it.
That's all good, man. I feel like the fact that you missed Heart of the Storm was it's good, man.
What's that?
The fact that you missed Heart of the Storm, that was good for you. If you hadn't missed any of the 3, I would say Heart of the Storm would be the best one to miss. That game was not very fun. The styles of that game was so annoying.
It got stale, right? Like
yeah, it was like Swarm most every game, or like mass Widow Mines every game. It was really dumb. Alright, so just maximize your economy again. Like re-rally your main and then send the drones down. So send 3 of them down to maximize mining. There you go, perfect. And then on this one, make extra queens like we did last night. Go up to 4 queens. I think 4 queens is perfect because you have 1 creep spreader, and then you have 1 per hatchery. And the only time I would ever make extra queens is if I saw my opponent going for like a very early Stargate, and I didn't want to get like really early spores, and instead I just make a couple extra queens beyond 4. But generally speaking, 4 is a good number to go with. So I would say make just 1 more queen, and then. Yeah, because creep spread's very, very, very important, and the faster you do it, the better off it'll be for you in the future, because it'll help you a lot at dealing with things like all-ins. And then just make sure you re-rally your main to your natural again, because you're getting oversaturated. And then at 3 minutes, we're a little bit past, make double gas. And at 3:45, make a roach warren again. And again, it's all designed for like if people do like double gateway openers or just gateway openers in general, where you'll have roaches to deal with the mid-game adept pressure.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
I'd say the only thing that's scary about this build that we're doing right now, though, is you always need to scout your opponent right away, and you need to identify if they're going for a quick nexus and single gateway, or if they're going for double gateway really early and delaying the nexus by just a little bit. If they go for double gateway, what you need to do is you actually need to make like 10 lings really early to not lose drones.
I think they did. He did go double gateway.
This game, he went gateway, nexus, and then double gate behind that. So it's a little bit later than normal. Like, this is still a little bit of a later adept timing, but you just gotta always be aware of if your opponent's gonna adept pressure you or not. And if they do, you have to have lings ready to go. And you always, ideally, would like to fight them on creep and just push them away. I lose this shit all the time on my stream because I forget to make lings, and I'm talking, and I'm like, oh, what's up, guys? I made drones for that. But yeah. Just keep that in mind. That's the one weakness of this build is adept pressure, or very early. So you need lings to counter that.
Oh man, I never put on the gas.
It's all good. Just I would say go double gas in the main now or something. Just go up to 4 gases, and then first start a layer, and then second, again like that 7 roaches thing we were talking about. But keep making drones for the time being. And also, I would say scout a bit more with your overlord. Like, have that overlord that's above his base, kind of always in position to see if the third's there or something, and then maybe like poke forward with your second overlord under his natural, and see if he's throwing down more gases. And more. If he throws down more gases, that definitely is a big deal. It tells you a lot. It tells you he's going for more tech-heavy units. If he doesn't have those gases, it would tell you he would be like maybe going for like 10 gateways, adepts, or some shit like that. So if you see gas at the natural like that, you can tell, okay, this guy's probably going Stargate or Dark Templar, Archon, or Robo. Something that costs gas, basically, beyond the gateway.
I think we're the drone.
And make sure, don't forget to start a layer too.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm missing.
Then we go double Evo like this, good shit. And then I would say throw down like a 4th base right now, because you are fully saturated on 3 mineral lines now. And then try to just quickly finish off the gas saturation, and then immediately make like, start making roaches after that. Because we kind of skipped the safety roaches at this point. It's okay though, it's fine.
Yep. Should I go 6 gas right now?
Yeah, it just takes all 6. Because you're going to be going Roach Hydra again, just like last game. Just as an opener. It's like a very safe, well-rounded opener for defense. For like mid-game. Because it beats a lot of armies. Because it just overpowers them. Because your Protoss, the Protoss will not be maxed out in the mid-game. It's impossible. So the Roach Hydra army is good in the mid-game, and it's a good thing to do blindly until you're really comfortable with scouting. And then as soon as you get more comfortable scouting and you like actually develop more builds that are way more precise and reactionary, you can skip Roach Hydra, I would say. But just for the sake of macro and learning proper macro, work on always like saturating well and then going Roach Hydra in the mid game. And like this game, I feel like you honestly made lings a little too early.
Oh yeah.
Like those honestly you should always focus on saturating fully. Your third's a bit undersaturated and your main is a bit undersaturated. And then I would say go Roach Hydra. Don't even go lings at all early on. Just go Roach Hydra every game in the beginning. And then as soon as if you decide, okay, I'm not killing my opponent with Roach Hydra, I need to transition, you could then go into like Zergling Muta or something else like that at that point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that probably screws me over pretty bad.
Yeah,
right?
the larvae used on lings honestly slowed you down a lot. These lings now need to do something, or you're now kind of screwed because there's no way you can fight his army at this point. Because that could
hopefully I can get this base.
Hopefully,
right
yeah. Hopefully, nothing happens. Because if he attacks you right now, you'll die. That's like 20 larvae right there in lings. Alright, so be going into Roach Hydra. And he's attacking you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You can try and just muster a defense here, like gather your army and maybe you can hold. But that army is a little scary, especially for things because he does have an Archon in there. Good luck, man. Alright. That army is scary. Alright, after this game, I'm gonna what I'm kind of thinking about doing as well is I think I'll play one game, and I'll do this exact build I'm telling you about as well, and it'll be what I want it to be for you is I want it to be an example where you can watch it, and then you can even like write timings down exactly to have for future reference, so you can always like have it just to refer to be like, okay, this is exactly how the build goes and yada yada yada, rather than just trying to remember it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely screwed that one up, but
it's all good. Alright, I'm gonna make another. I'll do the same map, Frozen Temple. But yeah, you definitely making the lings early. It makes it to where you can't actually fight his army. Oh shit, my bad. I made the wrong.
All right. I think this one will be a little better.
Is the game starting?
No.
Okay, good. I don't know why it auto started. That was crazy. Crazy stuff. Alright, and then here we go. And feel free to ask me any questions you have as well. Throughout the whole game. I don't mind talking while playing.
Wow.
But what I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to try and give you like a guideline here of like timings to do everything. I'm going to try and tell you like the important part about where you send your Overlord in the beginning and like the weakness of the build, which is again the early adept pressure. Mm-hmm. And then exactly what to do to make sure you're okay to potentially deal with something like that.
Okay. So it's 3 minutes, double gas,
yeah.
345 Roach Warren, layer first, then speed.
Yep. Only layer first if he's not all in. If he is all in and you're getting like massively like one based or some shit like that, make speed before a layer.
Right. And what about double evos?
Double evo should come after you already have a layer. It's too much gas investment too early. You want to be making roaches first and then upgrades later. If you make upgrades too early, you could be in a situation where your opponent has like 10 adepts running into your base and you don't have any roaches because you invested into evo upgrades instead.
Right.
Alright. So, yep, just, again, the opener is 17, 17, 18 for hatch, pool, hatch.
Okay.
And then, all, like, the whole time, just spamming that D key, man. SD, 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 SD. That's all I ever do. It really is, it's seriously very important, though. Just, it's a good habit to develop. Because it's really bad if you get in a situation, where, you know, like you're distracted by like one adept running on your base or something, or a reaper or anything, and you're like, oh my god, I have like 500 minerals and I haven't been making any drones. It happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But if you just mindlessly, if you make it into a situation where you don't have to think about it anymore, and you mindlessly go SD, 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 it'll make it to where you just actually continue to do it, even though you have something annoying happening in the current game.
Gotcha.
Alright, so 17, 17 so far, drone up to 18. And then as soon as I start the 18th drone, I'll send my drone down to my third. So my drone will be getting there. It'll be arriving at the third with about 300 minerals in my bank.
Gotcha.
And this is most maps. What's up, go ahead.
19 Overlord, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's the third. Then drum 2 more times to 19 like we just said. And the big thing I'm looking for as well with Overlord right now is I'm looking at his ramp. I want to see the ramp right away. I want to know, is this dude going for... Because the ramp will also see... I will see the natural 2 while I'm there. But I want to know, is he going for a Nexus early? Is he going macro heavy? Is he actually going double gateway? If he does go double gateway, I am definitely going to be favoring more in the Lings early on. Mm-hmm. And if he's not, I'm going to maybe make like... I'm still going to make Lings no matter what, but it's like... If he makes 1 gateway, 1 adept, I'll probably make like 4 or 6 Lings. If he goes double gateway, I'll probably make like 12.
Gotcha.
And I'm still going to always make 1 ling no matter what to just kind of scout around. Okay, so we got a single gateway and we got a Nexus. So I'm not going to be making a ton of lings. I'm going to wait until I see what pops out of the gateway. If it's it's an adept. It's sitting here defensively. I'm gonna push this to the limit here. He's not pushing yet. He's just sitting there. And he's also not making another unit out of the gateway. You can tell because it's not like glowing, basically.
Right.
So I'm not really worried about making more lings right now. I'm just gonna keep making drones.
What if he made a stalker right there, though?
I would have just lost the Overlord, but it would tell me he made a stalker. It's important just to know that. Because if he makes a stalker, it probably means he's hiding his tech, and he wants to like go Stargate, or something really weird like that really early. So let's go see his third, poke around. Now 3 minutes, let's take double gas. And we're still just drone. There's a second adept. He's not making anything still. Now I'm going to kind of dive deeper into his base with this Overlord. Like, losing an Overlord is actually not that big of a deal. It's at this point. I can easily replace it, but it is a really big deal to know what he's doing. Even if he shows you, oh, I made a stalker, that tells you a lot.
Right.
And because right now we know he's on 3 gateways, and there's probably some type of tech in the main. Because we don't see any there's a Twilight Council. We don't see any attempted at the third. Any attempt at the third yet? So now
we're leaning towards pressure, right?
Yeah, this looks like it's gonna be more pressure oriented. He's also chrono boosting the Twilight Council, which means he's probably going for a quick upgrade on adept attack speed. So now we're around 55 supply. I'll go up to 4 gas. We're still spreading creep with our extra queen, our 4th queen, which is going to help me dealing with the net pressure. And we're going layer already, and now I'm going to get Zergling speed now that I've already started the layer. And we're going to stop droning around 60. And now we're going to make sure we have enough Overlords. Because there's still no third, so I'm not going to go crazy here on the drones. If he's not taking a third, I'm not going to all in and die. Or I'm not going to make nothing but drones and then die. But we do now see, it looks like that right there, it looks like he's moving up to try and attempt to take a third. Because he did have a probe with that.
Yeah.
But it's late though, so it's okay. It's not like we're screwed. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make like 7 roaches, like we were talking about before. These are the safety roaches. And these roaches are going to guard me if he does some type of small pressure. And I'm going to send my Overlord down now to just like confirm, did he expand or is he not? And then now I've gone back to making drones now that I have the safety roaches. And we're going to make a Hydrogen. We're going to get roach speed right now. He took the third. Okay, so we're good to go. We can fully saturate. We're going to take a 4th base because now we're going to be fully saturated. And now we're going into roaches. And then now we're also going to start double evo. Because once we're fully saturated and once we're going into that roach production, that's when you would want to start.
Oh, okay.
That's when, yeah, that's like the checkpoint to wanting to then start your evo upgrades. Before that, it's just too much of an investment because I'm like trying to keep my minerals low, my gas low, and just yeah, you don't want to do evos to like slow down the actual production of your build. You want it to be an afterthought.
Economy first.
Yep, always. That is definitely like macro in itself right there. If you do anything to delay macro, you need to be making it to where it's going to be doing like pressure or something like that to make it worth it. Otherwise, you're just fucking yourself over. It's like you do damage to yourself basically at that point. So our upgrades are looking alright. We're going to aim for about 16 Hydras as our composition, and then we're going to be going fully into roaches beyond that. It'll also help us save money if we do it that way. I would have also made lings if I needed to early on in case you would have done a huge timing, so getting ling speed was kind of like safety. Even though I'm not going to use it really, it's fine. Alright, we're at right now like 7 Hydras. Now we're at about probably like 13, maybe like 3 more, and we'll be good.
So you got the melee just in case you need
I get melee because I like doing upgrades take a long time and I plan on transitioning to lings no matter what at some point in this game. Right. Even if I'm not going to use it really early on +1, I'm still going to probably be using it at +3. And having +3, like having a timing of actually having +3 when I need it is very, very, very good. And I can easily afford it right now, now that I'm fully saturated.
Lings with Adrenal are beautiful.
Yeah, they're like fucking amazing. They are.
Yeah.
Alright, so now I'm going to start an infestation pit, just to get ready to go to Hive. I'm starting the infestation pit, kind of like, the perfect time to start it is right when 1-1 finishes, but I'm just going to do it now, it doesn't matter. I have the money to spare. And now, okay, we're getting close to that max point. We're going to go scout him again with a couple of changelings. And we're going to just get ready to see what angle we want to attack from. And all while we're macroing, we're not overcomplicating this. We're not doing a lot of stuff at once. We're just making roaches, and we're spreading creep. That's our main focus. Now that we don't have to make drones anymore, it's just creep spread and make roach. Creep spread, make roach.
And you're gonna leave the fourth alone. You're not gonna.
I'm not gonna
drone
touch
it up.
Yep. I'm only gonna transfer to it when I start mining out of my other bases. Okay, so we see lots of gateways. There's his army. He's moving out. You know what we should do? We should actually just let's move around the side. Why not? And we know now he's going for a Stalker Hyper army. Let's go for Spire and Hive Tech, and let's start level 2 weapon upgrades on both. If he turns around and fights this, great for me. If he doesn't, if it does go into a base raid, I'm already winning because I'm already at his base before he's at mine.
Yeah.
So I'm putting him into a bad position right now. Okay, so he's decided to come back. I'll stay here for just like a second and kill shit as it kind of like recalls in because every unit's stunned for like 2 seconds. So I got a couple kills there, but I didn't really lose anything. I lost like 1 roach in that whole exchange. And we're still spreading creep. Spreading creep allows you to do shit like this. It's very, very, very important. And now we're talking about that trade style where you start slowly trading away the roaches. Let's send a little bit of our army, like again, like 20 to 30 supply up to the top. And there's his army. We've got his attention. So we know where he is now. Let's send the rest of our army down to the south and go around.
Nice.
And now we're going to start transferring drones to the fourth. So we're going to check one more time, just to make sure he's still here. Okay, he's still here. Now let's go poke another base. And we're not even engaging, we're just poking him, making him get his attention.
Yeah.
And even if this army dies, it's fine. It's a small, like our top right army, that is. It's a small army. It's not anything I really care about that much. I just care. I'm killing this whole base right now.
Yeah.
And now we're going to Adrenal Glands, and now we can start switching into Mutas and Lings. And he just
Pretty
recalled.
much it.
And now that he's recalling like this, let's just run some of my army to like the main because we're already here, and run some of it towards the third. Now he has to take a choice. Does he save the main or does he save the third? If he saves the main, I'll kill the third. If he goes to save the third, I'll run away because I'm not trapped with this army at the third.
Right.
He's going for the third, so we'll run away. Now his main's dead. All his tech is dead.
That's beautiful.
And now, if you look at our upgrades, we're going on level 3. We're actually not going to get level 3 range weapons because we're actually transitioning now out of Roach Hydra. So we're just going to go pure melee now. And now we have level 3 Adrenal Gland Lings going in against Mass Stalker in the second tier. Now he's committing to the main, so let's recommit to the third with our ground army. We're just being very annoying. We're making the most out of this army. But it is slowly trading off and dying.
Very nice.
So it's all just like, with this kind of a style, where you want to go Roach Hydra and then poke around. I feel like that game was a good example of how to open with the macro and why creep spread's so important, because it allows you to do what I just did. It gives you good vision and good mobility to go around other areas.
Right.
But the big thing is just making decisions to be like, okay, well, let's make him just choose to get fucked over in this way or that way, one or the other. And not every Protoss you're going to play against is going to be at the caliber to be like, no, I'm going to defend everything perfectly. It's really hard to do that. Because your army literally is just like you split off chunk of army and A-move it. The Roach Hydra requires like no micro, other than A-move, pretty much. That's why it's a good army to learn with. It teaches you like tactics really well. Alright, so we can do, I'll do another game. Would you like to focus a lot more, sorry, I'm like stuttering here. Would you like to do another ZVP, or would you like to switch it up and do maybe a ZVZ or something?
You kind of cut out there. What'd you say?
Okay, so we can do like another game, probably like 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
Do you want to do another ZVP and just kind of focus heavily on ZVP today, or do you want to actually switch it up and do a ZVZ like you were saying earlier?
I guess we could, I think I got the message. I guess we could try a ZVZ.
Okay. What kind of stuff in ZVZ do you play against a lot? Is it like more all-in heavy, or do you like to macro heavy?
No, I don't really all in. I do macro. I've been having a lot of hard times with lurkers.
Okay. All right. Anyone, once again, people from the stream, is there anyone here willing to play at around a platinum level Zerg vs. Zerg? If you are, pay attention right now and let me know. Fem Zergling, you're a Plat 1 Zerg? Alright, let's do this. Fem Zergling, I've chosen you. You're in. Let me show you how to get into the channel. All you gotta do is go to click the groups button down here in the bottom right. You'll see it says groups up here. Hit find, type in ViBE in the search, and then you'll see ViBE's Raiders, the channel right here. Just double click it to join it, join chat, and then you'll be in the chat, and then just let me know when you're in here. And then yeah, then start the game. I'm Diamond 1. Diamond's a bit higher than what I'm looking for right now. Okay, Zizari. Is that Fem Zergling? Fem Zergling, tell me what your name is in StarCraft. I don't want to invite someone else over you because I already said I'd use you. How you doing? I'm doing good, Mr. Smiles. I'm just doing a coaching lesson right now. I'm getting another Zerg for it. Okay. Oops. Okay, cool. Joe, did you log off? I think we lost Joe, guys. He's not online. I think his internet might have gone down or something. I don't know. I'll wait for a few minutes for him to come back. I'm off to bed to watch this from my bed laptop. Yo, Hertha, thanks for playing, man. I appreciate it, dude. I do appreciate it. Help me out. And also, Fim Zergling, I appreciate you playing as well. I'll give him like 5 minutes to come back. He's completely offline. I'm assuming his internet went out. So I'm gonna go lurker then. If you wouldn't mind, that would be ideal, I guess, because that's what he says he struggles against. And to be honest, the only thing he needs to do to deal with that is Vipers. Vipers will destroy lurkers. Hold on. While he's not here, I'm actually going to I'll restart the game in 1 minute, Fim Zergling, if he comes back. But while we're waiting, I'm gonna make something that I'm gonna direct him to as a VOD. That can help him out. This will be part of the coaching VOD that I'm gonna upload, so it'll be in here anyways. I just want to do it rather than sitting here doing nothing. What the hell is the unit test? Like the legacy void unit. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright, so Joe, yo, even though you might not be seeing this live right now, this is for you, bro. This is part of the coaching lesson. This is how you deal with lurkers. Let me show you right now. And again, it can go off the back of Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra is a very easy army to use, and just for learning Zerg in general and getting comfortable with playing high macro style, like a heavy macro style field. So we have... I'm sorry for coughing so much, by the way. Apologize, guys. We have a guy going lurkers, and then we have a guy going Roach Hydra. Alright, so there we go. And Viper. Okay. So here's your opponent. Here he is. This is your opponent right here. This is the lurker kid. And then here's his army. And then here's your army. We're gonna pretend like you didn't make Vipers this game, okay? Let's just pretend you didn't make these. And let's pretend that this is your army. This army is massive. Okay? It is this army is massive, bro. It's massive compared to this army. This army is so tiny compared to that. This army is huge. Now the Roaches are in the front. Now let's attack move this army over here and attack move this army over here and watch what happens. The lurkers are going to destroy. And you're like, oh shit. Lurkers, I need you. So yeah, the lurkers just wrecked. Once again, we can reset this. I can give it one more example again. Let's do it again, boys. Just one more lurker example here. Let's look at the lurker carnage. A move. A move. Lurkers win again. The lurker army in this scenario is so tiny. These are. I wish I could have different colors, but yeah, that's the last unit for the lurker guy. That one Hydra. Now this is all the lurker army dude. Right here. So yeah, lurkers win very easily. But now check this out. All you gotta do, if you struggle with lurkers, is you do this right here. You go, okay, I know my opponent is a lurker guy. He's a lurker user. Let's say he's guarding his lurkers like this. He's, waiting for you to really commit here. And you're the Roach Hydra guy. Now if you use Viper, you have two ways to do this. One way is you can Blinding Cloud sets of lurkers, and if a Blinding Cloud is on a lurker, it can no longer shoot at all against Roach Hydra. Or you can abduct them out of the ground if you have vision with an Overseer. I would say the easiest way to do this would be Blinding Cloud. And we're going to see what that looks like right now. So now Lurker Army has won both times. Now look at the Roach Hydra Viper army. And we saved like almost the entire army. The power of Viper against Lurker is insane. And you don't have to do it with Blinding Cloud. Blinding Cloud is easier. I will totally say it's easier. Because all you gotta do is go B-click, and then you're Blinding Clouding where the lurkers are. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. But if you want to do it like this too, if like it's really hard for you to get a Blinding Cloud set up for whatever reason, and you're like, man, I just can't do it. It's really difficult. I don't want to engage. Let's say he's got like 20 spine crawlers or something weird like that, and you're like, I can't do it, man. Whatever is in my way. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm freaking out. You could go like this. Okay? You could do this right here. You can just move your army forward a little bit, just outside of lurker range. Don't get crazy. You don't have to get crazy with it. Just outside of lurker range. And your overseers can move forward just within lurker range like this. And you can go like this. You're like, oh, let's abduct them all. Oh, I can't see that one. That's why it's not being affected. So yeah. There you go. Same result. You still win going for a duck. Again, I took more damage, I would say. That was harder to do. But it's still very doable. These lurkers ran away after I abducted them. They like ran opposite. But it doesn't matter. You can still, if you abduct a lurker, you rip it out of the ground so it can't shoot you anymore. So yeah. That's about it, man. And once again, final example. We just saw the Vipers won twice. Let's once again look at what this fight looks like if Vipers are not included. And look at the size of the Roach Hydra army over here. Look how small it is. And look how big this Roach Hydra army is. This Roach Hydra army on the left side is massive, bro. It's huge. That's huge compared to that. It's much bigger. It's like fucking 3 times the supply. And once again, yeah, roaches are in front. This is going to be a real example of what a game could look like for you as a player. So roaches are leading. Hydras are in the back. And you just A-moved into roaches. Vipers are very important. Lurker army just wrecked. This is all the lurker army again. So yeah, I feel like that's a good example. I think he's gone, guys. I don't think he's coming back. But at least I showed him this for the VOD when he gets around to seeing it. So Joe, that was for you, bro. That's how you do it with lurkers. Just make vipers and blinding cloud that shit, or abduct, whatever you want to do. Start with blinding cloud though, and it'll be easier for you, and your life will be a lot better.